Welcome back folks, my name is LastKnownMeal and today I will show you things I wished I knew before starting Dying Light 2. We will be going through various important aspects of the game so you can maximize your profits, materials you gather, and how to navigate around the city itself. First off, let's talk about your character, how you upgrade the stats and increase your stamina and health. As you can see in the skills tab, we have parkour and combat skills. In order to gain a new skill point to unlock something new, you pretty much have to fight enemies and do parkour around the map. By doing so, you gain experience points, and after you gain it, you basically up a level, you get a skill point. Keep in mind, parkour and combat skills gain is separate, so you can get points for each category. Your combat and parkour level goes up the more time you spend out during the night. Longer the survival, the more extra experience you get, so utilize night to the fullest extent. Besides that, in order to upgrade your stamina or health, you need 3 inhibitors, and those you can find on various locations, from GRE convoys and buildings just to random places around the map, as well as by finishing activities and side quests around the map itself. When you collect 3, you can use that to put up a skill point into either stamina or health, which also increases your immunity timer we are going to talk about soon. Keep in mind, during the night enemies also drop better loot and gear, so if you're looking for that, I definitely recommend slashing enemies and zombies during the night. And also some items are exclusive to the night cycle in this game, so if you want them, well, you gotta survive. To go back to the inhibitor, once you are close, you will get a notification saying that it's located, and you have to follow this little marker over here telling you how far you are away from the actual item. So when you get notified it's close, go find it, but keep in mind, in most cases it will be around deadly opponents, so keep a close guard. When it comes to weapons and armor, it's done differently than Dying Light 1, especially since now you have actual armor slots. In the weapon slots you can have up to 4 selected weapons and 24 in total in your inventory. The rest you can put in the stash in your camp. Weapons are divided into blunt and slash section, and it has a different rarity and quality going from common to artifact weapons that can be insanely strong. Same when it comes to gear, you have 6 slots, one for head, gloves, chest, bracers, pants and shoes, and as you can see here, all of them have different icon, meaning they are best for a specific class you want to play or subclass you want to play, that either being a more medic oriented, or maybe you want the most in your melee weapon, like more damage and stamina, and also more protective pieces that will give you more protection but obviously less damage overall. Since the loot can be all over the place and basically quite random, I recommend having different combinations for various scenarios in the game, depending if you're going for a bow, parkour build, or more of that close combat type. But also, this is specific for early game. Later on, you will get items and weapons which you don't really need to change, you just keep and you're pretty much OP. Now let's talk about upgrading weapons and putting various mods on it. In Dying Light 2, weapon system is a little bit different because straight away you can't really fix your weapon on the fly like you were able to do it in Dying Light 1, but in order to unlock mods in the first place you have to visit a certain location, basically this one. Talk to this dude right here, and in the buy menu you will get a mod recipe. Now all of these recipes cost money, so you will actually have to have some on you to actually buy it. That can either be fire effect, poison, it can be electricity, or various other things. Now once you buy the recipe, go to your inventory and start modding the weapon itself. So once you are in your inventory, press C or other button on your controller. Now weaker weapons have tip and shaft slots where the mod can be placed, but in order to place the mod you need to have components like scrap, rags and pigments, but keep in mind the recipe is different, varying for each mod and item. You can also upgrade the mod by visiting that or similar trader who also crafts things in order to get stronger effects on the weapon itself. But even putting a level 1 mod will increase the durability and damage to a weapon, making it much more stronger and efficient, so I actually really recommend you to do it as soon as you can in the game, because basic weapons without any mods don't really do a lot of damage. Some weapons though, like artifact weapons, have additional slot like a grip to have like an additional mod. It's usually for durability itself, so you're not going to get another like fire effect on that immediately. If you don't have money, keep in mind, once you click on the sell button for a certain trader, you can sell all of your collectibles by pressing C button or the corresponding button on the controller where you sell it and get decent money. Don't worry, all of these collectibles are mostly for selling. And again, you find valuable items in houses and other compartments, which I'm going to talk about. Now, in order to find things which are valuable, we have to take some risks. First off, there are various buildings in the game you can visit, as well as small homes and military checkpoints that have a higher chance of revealing something better. Of course, some of those items are going to be locked away behind an actual lockpicking skill. For lockpicking, I recommend taking it slowly. So for example, you try to initiate a lockpick, it doesn't budge. Start moving the actual pick very slowly. If you do it fast, you're just going to break your lockpick, but keep in mind, you will break some lockpicks, especially until you get the hang of it, but the lockpicking itself is basically stay calm and don't rush it, and there you go. Now to go back to those houses and GRE compounds. Now those compounds and houses will usually have sleepers, relatively dangerous zombies that can be avoided if you sneak around them. Now in order to pass them, just walk slowly and don't stand too close. You will have a window of around 4 seconds before they notice you if you are really close, but even that depends if you walk around or actually sneak. You can also initiate a finisher on a sleeper and it won't trigger all of the zombies, but keep in mind the sleeper has to be your level, otherwise you will do it damage once you try to basically like one-shot it, but you won't kill it, the actual zombie, and he will retaliate and you will actually end up in a grab, so you have to get out of that grab. So if you see a level 1 sleeper, feel free to neutralize him and erase basically the zombies from that area and basically ease your exploration. Some areas will be more dangerous, especially, as I said, GRE zones that have toxic spills that make your time in those areas extremely limited. So if it said like your immunity lasts for 5 minutes, once you enter this area where you have like actual toxicity, it will drop to like 1 minute and 30 seconds, which is going to be extremely frustrating. So always know where your exit is. And as you saw on the top of the screen, our character has to stay in the light. If he doesn't, you end up losing your immunity and, well, becoming a zombie. And it's game over. You can replenish that by using immunity boosters or UV mushrooms that give you, some breathing room, but always, and I mean always, as I said, know your way back in case the timer goes out, because if it does, you are pretty much done. Just go back into the sun if you're doing this during the day. If not, then just, be careful. Now, these internal areas are full of sleepers during the day, but during the night, these buildings are usually empty, allowing you for an easier exploration. So if you don't want to do this during the day, you can actually sneak in, around during the night, and there is not going to be that many zombies, or the entire building is going to be empty, which allows you to go in slowly, do everything, pick everything up, loot, and run back to your base. When it comes to crafting stuff, from the beginning of the game you can craft medkits, lockpicks, and throwing knives. For medkits you need honey and chamomile, and you get basically those usually on the rooftops. Remember to press Q or the controller button to activate your sense to show where are those things around you in order to pick it up. And you will also see different color of the dots signaling different quality and rarity of stuff you collect. Now for the crafting you will need a lot of materials, therefore I recommend picking up as much as you can, especially moving around rooftops and gathering honey and chamomile for those healing kits. But remember, the best loot is inside houses, underground, and GRE compounds you can visit. Higher the risk, higher the reward, but keep in mind, I always recommend visiting those places during the night because you will encounter least amount of resistance. Next up is parkour, one of the most important things in this game. In Dying Light 2, your stamina depletes fast, meaning if you start to climb and jump, you will drain 50% of it immediately, and once it depletes, you will fall off the building, so you have to choose the best route where you will have parts where you can rest. If you don't have it, you will fall off. Keep in mind, not all buildings are made to actually climb immediately. If you can do it, then great, but there are some buildings out there where you actually need a lot more stamina in order to beat it. So if you cannot get on top of a certain building, if you think your stamina is not budging, that's okay. Just level it up and you will be able to do it later on. This means when you're climbing and doing parkour, do not jump, just climb. Whenever you jump without a reason, you lose a lot. So avoid it at the beginning at all costs. And the only way where you're going to jump is if you're jumping in a direction where you can rest. So if you see like an opening where you can jump and climb, so your character can rest, do it. If not, avoid it. When it comes to the skills, I really recommend getting it started. This first skill, the parkour skill, is very important because it will allow you to land properly without losing HP, or well, a huge chunk of HP, giving you much more breathing room in case you need to quickly fall off the building. But watch out, you can't fall from crazy heights and think this skill will save you. It absolutely won't. It used to in Dying Light 1, but not anymore. And at the same time, when it comes to combat, I recommend getting this skill because you can actually just hit someone with your, legs if you jump and press E and basically aim at the enemy itself. Now this doesn't have to be from a huge building. You can run up the car, do like a higher jump, press E on the enemy, and he's going to hit it. And for the end, I want to talk about the night in this game, because night was always important. There are a few general rules to remember. Stay on top of the building, because due to Aiden being infected, you have about 5 minutes at start of the game without all of the upgrades before immunity is kaput, done. This means always having immunity boosters and UV mushrooms, same as you would have them when you enter dark buildings. Now the reason why I say stay on top of the building is when you go down you have to be careful not to trigger a chase. That means if you're seen by volatiles, they will lock onto you and call all of the other monsters to go after you. And not just a volatile, it can be anything during the night. The chase is a very, very difficult thing, especially if you have level 4 chase. That means you have the most amount of enemies on you, and in that case it's best to run. Or you can also hide on top of the rooftop and wait for it to pass. Just remember, you have to move away from the zombies. If they're close, they're going to notice you. But you also do have hiding spots in the game. Whenever you see this little icon where it says like this eye and then this little line, this means you can hide here and wait a little bit. This also means in enclosed buildings, if you see this, you can actually use it to hide, like from enemies that haven't seen you completely yet. Now your next problem is also the Howler. These guys, if they see you, will call their reinforcements straight away, so either neutralize them immediately or don't be seen by them. You can notice them by this little icon. Avoid them at all costs, especially at the beginning when you don't have any fighting chance, because they will call a lot of zombies on you. And when it comes to other advice I can give you is pretty much utilize the night, since you can get most XP then, loot empty buildings during the night, but always know how to escape and utilize your skills as much as possible to avoid damaging the weapon too much, especially good weapons. Like, leave that for tougher enemies. Don't use like the best weapon you have in your inventory on low tier zombies at start. It doesn't make any sense. So this will be everything I have prepared for this beginner's guide. I will have a more advanced guide later on with various locations of weapons, armor, mods, and so on, but that's the story for another video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed it, and also check us out on Twitter and Discord. Also huge thanks to my current Patreon supporters. This is LKM signing out, and stay classy everyone. Bye bye.